gonna take on the world. Standing tall, we gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners would never look down. No one can stop us, we got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We gonna take on the world. Yeah, we gotta move. Speaking the truth. Yeah, paying our dues. We making the news. Yeah, we hitting the roof. No, we don't wanna lose. Climbing and shaking the walls. We gotta break all the rules.
What's up? Welcome to the second week in a row of a victory edition of the Jaguar. I today am Josh Allen, as always, and I today am joined by only today am I Josh Allen. I don't know. Listen, it's been a long day. I had my eyes dilated. So much stuff going on. It's almost Christmas. Matt Grieve cannot join the show tonight. He is caught up in the many Christmas obligations that lots of folks have. But I have someone almost as good. Sammy Football, who almost who was actually at the game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So a big shout out to everybody watching the stream. We actually have 4 viewers right now, which
this is a baby podcast, and that's only from Facebook. So we're streaming multiple places. It's okay.
Yeah. So four viewers in 2 minutes. I don't know. I was impressed. You guys are quick on the draw tonight.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. Listen, it's good if I decide it's good, right? I'm looking for a little bit of sunshine after the long day I had. So my man Will Hatcher, with maybe the creepiest Facebook profile picture of anyone I know, gave us an early Duval. What's up, my man?
Duval.
Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know about you. You were there, right? We'll just get right into it. You were there.
Yeah.
How was the vibe? I've heard some people saying that there was 80% Cowboy fans. To me, on TV, it didn't look as bad as the Giants game, but I don't know. I wasn't there.
No, it wasn't nearly as bad. So where I sit, I have season tickets. So I'm there at the same spot every game. And so I see, of course we have the people that are around us every game, but it's technically on the away side. We moved there in 2007 just because it was a little bit cheaper. But we're in the pie right under the Bud Zone. And so you get you have your typical there every week people, but then we do get a lot of traveling people. And I will say there weren't as many from where I was. I'm in 143. There weren't as many Cowboys fans as I was expecting.
Yeah, it didn't look that way on TV either. There was a couple sections they showed, as plays were happening, that I saw sort of a big clump of them. But Cowboys are a fan base that travels well. That they've been around forever.
I actually went with. I took my friend and his son. His son has never seen the Jaguars win ever, so that was cool.
That was a heck of a game to see then.
And he plays football, so it was cool. I took him to they have the training facility.
Oh, nice.
So he went in and did all that, and it was cool. I love taking the kids because they get so excited. They're not abused yet like we are, or we've done this year after year, and it just hurts more and more. So it was cool for him to see that. But then my friend Mandy, actually, her dad just passed away, and they had bought tickets together, and they were both Cowboys fans. But she still went and brought a picture so he could go with her. And then some friends of ours, the Messinios, her brother is a Cowboys fan and actually came down, but they live in New York, so they actually came down. So I had 2 Cowboys fans, but they were in the middle row of my car. I have a 3-row car, and so on the way there they were talking a lot, and then on the way back we're like, oh, it's a sad row. Hey guys, it's okay. But yeah, the vibe was coming off that win last week at the Titans, which, division rival. So, anytime we beat them is our Super Bowl. And, people say that as, an insult, but I don't even care. It's facts. I don't care.
Yep.
Everybody was just, kind of hyped and, we're not as terrible as we, the national media likes to make us out to be kind of thing, or as bad as our record looks. And it just all around was a really good game. I will say, shout out to Dailies, because I decided to not eat rat tails in the concessions. I went and got a sub. They have a food truck by the amphitheater that you can go to, and it was actually pretty good. So if you go down to the stadium, go check out the Dailies sub food truck they have down there. They got tacos too. It was really good.
And if you
But
have
yeah,
kids, I think what's cool is the dailies. They have several sections or stations in the stadium where it's basically like a Dailies convenience store,
yeah.
right? Anything you can get in there as far as like candy or chips or whatever. So if I can, I have 2 tickets to the Titans game. I'm trying to convince my daughter to go with me. She's into it, but she's not like sit for 3 hours and watch it into it, right? Like
Yeah.
she's doing other stuff while I watch the games at home. Like she got excited when the Jags won. We were watching the sounds of the game that the team just posted to their YouTube page, which is phenomenal. If you have not, if you're a Jags fan and you have not checked out the sort of summary or wrap up video, they call it the sounds of the game, and it's usually like a 13 to 15 minute video. They have either hired people or hired a company to come in with very high end cinema style cameras that are capturing like just these amazing sort of down low angles of a lot of the things going on in the game. The only downside, it has Frank Frangie.
Ugh.
His radio calls. I
I
can't
don't
stand
mind. I
Frangie. I
don't
can't
mind
stand
him.
Frangie. Frangie is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. The fact that he is the play-by-play guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that before we were in the AFC South, when we were in, was it the Central? Was the
yeah.
AFC Central? They were our biggest rival, and that dude is an admitted 100% Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I just can't stand. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic. I don't like Frank Frangie.
I do. He's got a face for radio, you know?
Well, yeah, he's got a face for radio.
No,
Um,
I like his for some reason the way he calls it, like to hear it just gets me so hyped. I love it.
Yeah, see, that's where I disagree. But the videos are phenomenal. Check out the sounds of the game on the Jaguars YouTube channel if you have not. I'm just glad that we've proved once and for all who really is America's team. And it's
We
not the
them
Dallas
boys.
Cowboys. Yeah, we them boys. So my
This
boss,
is America's county. That's what you said last night.
that's right. America's County beat America's alleged team. I know 2 people, my boss and a good friend of mine, who are both Cowboys fans. I will say that they are fans who are good fans. Like there are some fans who are just jerks and they're obnoxious and they, take things too far. Every Cowboys fan I know is a good fan. So, I just, I enjoy sending memes to people I know, though. I couldn't resist. I sent a couple. There was the meme that I saw of the old guy. He's like, call an ambulance. And he's the Jaguars and the robber is the Cowboys. And he pulls out the
Yeah.
gun. He's like, but not for me. It's pretty wild to see the memes that come from it. And, shout out to the Jaguar social media team for posting that picture. I think it was of Marvin Jones Jr., flashing the gold teeth in his grill. And they just said hashtag America's team. And I was just like,
Yeah.
yep, that's right.
I love the one that they had of Trevor Lawrence and he's like pointing up and it's got like all the tweets
Mhm.
that like were coming out during the game. And
Skip Bayless just
is
going, no. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've told my boss and my other friend that Dak Prescott sucks for years. I think Blake Bortles is
Listen,
better.
I have said, and I've told the story before, but I worked at a cosmetology barber school, and one of the barber instructor was he was a Cowboys fan, and I did this whole like diagram of why the Jaguars are a more elite team than the Cowboys because ever since they've entered the league, the Cowboys haven't done anything, and that game Sunday was
It's proved it. It was a
like-
culmination.
like that wasn't even a bullet point. That game was the headline of why.
Well, up until last year, Blake Bortles had more playoff wins than Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And now, now I'm
I
telling
think they're
all my
tied
Cowboys.
now, right? It's not even like they have more. I think it's a tie.
I'd have to look it up, but yeah. I mean, it's either tied or he has one more than Blake. I think Blake was a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, and I also think we have another quarterback that is better than Dak Prescott already.
For sure. I don't know
Trevor
about
Lawrence.
Blake Bortles could be argued because I think the defense carried us heavy, but Trevor Lawrence for a fact.
Listen, all I know is that Blake Bortles, has as many or almost as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott. So
We got the vote and the goat. You know, what I'm
vote and the
saying?
goat. That's all I can tell you. So what are your thoughts on the game? My thoughts were sort of similar to last week. The defense relied on turnovers, right? They got the job done, but there's still some glaring holes defensively that I don't know how you fix. But
Time, but I think the biggest thing for me that's worrisome is ETN fumbling,
Yeah.
holding on to the ball.
Yep.
every week.
I just don't. You could argue though, the fumble this week was part of a bad. It was partly Trevor's fault.
I mean,
Partly
sure.
Trevor. That was just a bad exchange
I mean,
between the two of
sure.
them.
However, when it's happening every week, uh, I just, ugh, man. And we got to go play with James Robinson this week, and I'm like, oh, God, I miss him.
I don't think James Robinson's going to do anything. I don't think the
Yeah.
Jets are going to play him. I don't think they're going to give him the ball very much. They seem to not want to give up a higher pick for him. So it seems like they're weirdly sort of benching him to keep him from
Well,
getting.
he was out. They just listed him back as active yesterday. So I just hope that he didn't bring the playbook with him.
I mean,
That's what you
even if
always
he
gotta worry about.
did, even if he did, and I've always wondered about that too. At this point in the season, every team that plays another team has, 13, 14 weeks worth of footage on what their offensive and defensive plays are. I can't imagine there's too many plays that the Jaguars have up their sleeve that they have not run at some point. So you don't necessarily have the playbook, but you kind of have the playbook already. If we were playing them in like week 2 or 3, where you didn't have as much
Yeah,
footage
but
yet,
you
I'd be
have it. Well, but you have it with like confirmation too. It's no guessing. Like I've always said that. Like the Titans always seem to pick up all the Colts players all the time, or vice versa. The
oh
The
yeah.
Colts pick it up. You know what I mean? And I always joke like, oh, they're picking up the playbook, but I mean, essentially that's what you're doing. And it would be like, okay, no big deal if this was like week 7 or something, but we have to win out. We have
But I
to.
think Mike White's been ruled out, so we got Zach Wilson that we're facing. But I mean, yeah,
And
you know,
like
I don't know, but I just feel like if we beat I know we're jumping ahead. I was going to talk about that at the end, but if we beat the Titans and we beat the Cowboys, even with James Robinson, even if they have the playbook, just because it's coming doesn't necessarily mean you can stop it. Uh, just the grittiness of this team that goes back to what I was going to talk about next. Like this team, they just don't flinch, they don't quit, they don't give up, they don't stop. Like just some of that play from Evan Ingram to get out of bounds and just crawl and just basically,
literally, yeah.
It just that they didn't flinch. Trevor had 2 critical turnovers right towards the end of the game. One was just a bad throw, and then the other was just him trying to fight for extra yards when he didn't need to. But they didn't give up. They didn't. I mean, this. The Jaguars teams of old, you go up by 10 points on them, and they just crumble like a house of cards.
Yeah.
And they just
Well,
start
and
making.
that was the story of the beginning of the season too. Like if Trevor didn't come out and produce early, and he didn't get a strong lead, the confidence just crumbled. And it's almost like, so we used to talk about the cardiac cats, right? Because they come out and then they just choke. But now we're having the opposite happening, where like it's starting to crumble and they come back and play, harder than ever. It's almost like they're playing better under pressure than they ever have, which is
Yeah, they just
so
don't. They
good to see
don't.
from
They
Brett
don't seem
Favre.
to flinch no matter the circumstance. I mean, the first half of the game, even with the touchdown the Jags had scored,
Yeah.
like the Cowboys dominated the first half of that game. Like that, it felt like it didn't feel
Those
like
first
the
2
old.
touchdowns, I was like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me it didn't feel that bad because we're sort of playing with house money in that game. I had a feeling that the Titans were probably going to lose to the Chargers.
Speaking of house money, not to bring this up like out of turn, but did you see where this was the highest grossing game that they've had because of the pay structure with the tickets? Like
That's wild.
even more than the Bills playoff game. It was crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because they have the ability in the regular season to flex the tickets more, but the league sets the prices for playoff games, so they can't. They don't. I think the resale market for that Bills game, I would imagine there was a lot more money going back and forth for those tickets, but the team didn't get that. Right, that was so I bought it at $10 and then I sold it. Obviously $10.
Well, I
whatever.
think the
But
league is stepping in and regulating pricing more, anyways. Because they used to do a thing with season ticket members where, if you had a ticket, you could buy like 1 or 2 seats for 25 a piece, or it was 1 seat for 25 if you wanted to buy an extra, like bring a friend kind of thing. And I tried to do that at was it last game? One of the games previous. and they were like, no, we can't do that anymore. The league stepped in and said we can't. So we can give you like a discount for being a season ticket member, but it was still like $130. I want to
Yeah,
say
a friend of
$130.
mine that has season tickets, I had asked him early in the year about getting a couple extra to the Cowboys game because I wanted to go because I knew there was going to be a lot of Cowboy fans there, and I was like, if I can sort of counteract, them yelling in the stands. But he said that they were basically giving a discount on the flex pricing
Hmm.
for the extra tickets to the Cowboys game. They put flex pricing in play for the Titans game too. I understand. So I'm glad I got my tickets right before they made that decision. Like literally, as Rayshon Jenkins is prancing around in the end zone, I'm on my phone going, "Yep, I need to get my tickets now," because I felt it coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, the league can't control StubHub. That's the problem, and there's still more tickets sold on StubHub than the actual Ticketmaster reseller marketplace, from what I understand.
Yeah, but the thing is, that always worries me. Like, how do you know? Like, what happens if you buy? I don't know.
Well, StubHub still has their guarantee. You'll get your money back. Plus, there's some sort of something because it puts pressure on StubHub to do due diligence and make sure that the tickets are sort of verified or whatever. I've sold tickets via StubHub, and they make you jump through hoops and show that you actually have the ticket before you list it on there. Like, I mean, I've probably bought dozens of tickets to different events on StubHub with no issue. But all that being said, I can see how it would be insanely profitable. I don't.
I could have. So my friend couldn't make it to this game or these next few. So he gave me his ticket, and then I have my one extra, and I could have sold my tickets and paid for my season tickets next year, or had a lot of money in my pocket for Christmas. But I
Yeah.
did not. I did not sell my tickets. I gave them away to people who would appreciate it. So I thought you'd be proud of me for that one.
No,
Because
I
I could
am.
have made 500 a pop, easy.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's the principle of the thing.
Right.
And someone tried to argue with me on some Jaguars fan group about, well, you don't understand what
Shocker.
people's financial situation is. Maybe maybe that's what enables them to have season tickets every year. And I'm like, listen, if you are so financially low, not and I don't even mean that in a judgy way. Like if that's your financial situation that you have to literally depend on reselling some of your tickets to pay for your tickets every year, you may want to reprioritize. Like I don't have season tickets. I have other financial priorities right now. I'm going to the game in Tennessee. I went to the game when Houston came to town. I try to go to two games a year. There will be a point in the future where I hope to get my season tickets back. But sometimes in life you have to make that choice, and I just wish that Jag fans would get a little more on board, um, you know, with not selling their tickets, even if they can make a whole
I don't know,
boatload of
man. I'm
money.
telling you,
It's never going to happen. I know.
I
By the
missed
way,
I missed out on buying some of the Bills tickets and reselling them because I should have done that. Like people bought extra tickets and then sold them and paid for their season tickets for like a few years. I'm like, damn, I should have done that.
that Bills game was maybe the best football experience I've ever had.
Oh yeah, I loved watching grown men cry. It was so great.
Yeah, because I was on the, I don't know, I was on the home team side, but down towards the end where the Jags come out of the tunnel. So we were looking at Jalen Ramsey. I could see him. He was running, across towards it when he picked off that pass to seal the game. It was such a weird game too, with Nate Peterman being in there, and he's a local kid from like Fleming Island or Bartram Trail. I forget where in the Jacksonville area he was from. But that was a wild experience, and that cemented for me my hatred of Buffalo Bills fans. I just can't stand them. They're terrible people. They were setting things on fire. They were, people, people tailgating is a serious thing. If you've never had the privilege of going to an NFL game, some people take tailgating very seriously. They buy a lot of expensive coolers and equipment. And these Bills fans were seeing people like carrying their stuff around and like jumping on it like they do on their fold up tables and, breaking people's stuff and costing people a lot of money.
Yeah, that
And
game.
I've never been happier to taunt so many people as they left that stadium that day. It was my pleasure to make their day miserable as they left.
Yeah, I actually went to that game. I was pregnant with London that year, and I when the play where Tyrod Taylor went down. From where I sit, it's hard to see downfield on that side. So I came home and I wanted to rewatch it, and it was in the fourth quarter, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, my husband's like, are you crying right now? And I was like, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy. I'm
And
like
from
in a ball of tears on my couch rewatching the game. Ugh.
from a pure football standpoint, that was a god awful game. Like there's no
Yeah, what was
touchdowns.
it,
It
10
was
to 3?
all it was like it
I
was
think it
like
was 10 to 3.
It was either 10-3 or 9-3. It was uh
It was bad.
uh yeah. Oh, Dak's 1-3. I assume you mean playoff games, Brian. Yeah, I mean Dak is not good. I mean, he has not gotten the job done. You could argue that there's lots of problems that the Cowboys have
Yeah,
had. I
10 to
think Mike
3.
McCarthy, is a mediocre coach. I don't think he's that great. He's certainly no Doug Peterson. But the Jaguar, I mean, they just find a way. And obviously the player of the game, Rayshawn Jenkins, channeling his inner Leroy, and you have a theory on it, but I'll say what he said at the end of the game, or in the interviews after the game. He apparently was supposed to shadow Ezekiel Elliott and cover him, and they had watched so much film that he knew the play call essentially that was coming and knew that Dak was going to throw short quick to the sticks to try to get the first down. So he stayed where he was to try to help cover that pass, and he was coming, and then it literally bounces off the guy's hands and then right into Rayshawn Jenkins' hands. And listen, I'll just go watch that Sounds of the Game, and you will see Foley Fotakase with a huge block in the back. I don't know how that didn't get called, bro. He blew that dude up, and just straight blocked him in the back. Refs didn't see it. Hallelujah, amen. Rayshawn takes it to the house, and I know
I'm shocked that we haven't seen an uproar from the Cowboys on Twitter about that.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of things to be mad about with their team, though. It wasn't just that. You could argue that the way Dak threw that ball, he had somebody in his face. He literally, Dak could have just turned around and run the other way. But he ran right into where the pressure was coming from. People were very unhappy from what I saw on Twitter with Dak Prescott after that game.
He acted like his demeanor that whole game. Every time they would pan to him, I was like, Like as we kept like going up, I'm like, take that. Like I normally
I've always felt that way about him, though. He just seems like he's.
I know a lot of people do, but like I never felt that way about him until this game because he just had this. Oh gosh, my bad. He just had this like arrogance about him. Like he literally like each quarter his smile. Like, oh
God. One of the things that I've enjoyed is I've watched like footage of it. Like I always go back and watch some of the highlight videos that people put out and that the team puts out. The demeanor of the Cowboys players as they're showing them like behind the Jags players that the cameras are focused on. In the first quarter, man, those Cowboys, they're having a good time. They're smiling. They're and by the time they get to the end of the third quarter, they look a little more concerned. Their hands are on their hips. They're walking around sort of slow. You could just tell their demeanor has changed one of like, oh God, I can't believe this is happening. So you just love to see it. I've never liked the Cowboys. I don't like Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know. I do like Micah Parsons and some of their players on defense. I think are good. I think we got
hold on.
lucky.
I read this tweet last night on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast, and I can't remember it verbatim, so I don't want to murder it. Hold on, let me find it So one of my favorite parts of being at this game is about 5 rows down from me was a Eagles fan, and he just kept trolling them. Like every time they would try to get loud, he would stand up and be like, shh, 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 like trying to get quiet. So NBC Philly tweeted out after the game. Hold on, I will find it. I am so close. Hold on.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
NBC Sports Philadelphia tweeted out right after the game. Quick, someone asked Micah Parsons if Trevor Lawrence is a system quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just like, I mean, literally Phillies, like any of their sports Twitter, any of the Eagles pages were just trolling the Cowboys after that game.
Yeah, Brian Olive thinks so. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Brian Olive. Yeah, I think the Cowboys defense did get winded. I think that the Jags kept them on the field a little bit. They did that weird thing they do where it's like they're passing, but it's more like a run attack because they're running out the clock and they're making the defense run all over the field and whatever. But I do think the Jags won that game. You know, a lot of pundits were talking about how the
second
Cowboys
half,
lost the
The
game.
second half, Jags won that game.
Well, hey, all that matters is the end of the game, the final
That's
score.
true.
The Jags figured out they found a way to win, but I do think they got lucky in a couple regards. Leighton Vander Esch going out in the first quarter, I think helped them defensively because he's a good player also. You know, again, they relied on turnovers. I do think the Cowboys were looking past the Jaguars to that game with the Eagles. They came in thinking it was going to be a layup, which I don't know how you do that. If you look at that game that the Jags just played against the Titans, I don't understand that. And that to me,
the game against the Eagles, like there's something to be said. Like you could have, you know, an all-star team like, you know, Tom Brady and the Patriots 5 years ago, play in weather like that and lose to the Jaguars.
Yep.
But in this, like that game, I don't want to call it a fluke because I hate that, but you know, because we're not like the best team out there, but like the weather affected that. So you can't. How can you even like study that game? You know.
You're talking about the Jags Eagles game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the Cowboys are so obsessed with the Eagles and vice versa that probably, you know.
I think it goes to coaching. I think Mike McCarthy is not as good a coach as Doug Peterson. The players have nothing but, you know, glowing endorsements of Peterson after the game. The Jags players, they talked about the difference this year and last year is the coaching, and that they're much smarter and they're taught and enabled to make better decisions. You know, so
and allowed.
Right.
Because I think that was a lot of the problem last year is like, you know, Urban Meyer thought he was football Jesus and like wouldn't allow Trevor to like some of playing is instinct, right?
Yeah.
Like there's talent and there's, you know, like learning play calls and all that stuff, but and routes and whatever, but there's also instinct.
Yep.
You know, your natural.
Like in that Ravens game, the players convinced Doug Peterson that they should go for two, and Doug Peterson was smart enough to listen. Right. I think that Doug Peterson has a whole wealth of experience in the NFL where Urban didn't, and Urban is also. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Urban's a bad human being. Yeah. He's not just a bad coach, he's a bad person. And if you don't believe me, wait till the Twitter or excuse me, the Netflix documentary comes out about his days as the Florida Gator coach. There are many things that have been known for a long time by Gator supporters about Urban Meyer and how he ran that program. He used to let Percy Harvin beat up the other players in practice and didn't say a word. You know, also Mr. Tim Tebow is not as squeaky clean as everyone thinks he is either. So there's going to be some stuff. There's going to be some stuff that comes out that's probably not going to be very flattering for him either. He had literal, you know, Urban Meyer had literal murderers on his team. Murderers, you know, who was it? Riley Cooper that ended up dropping the N-word, you know, and like, you know, like these are just bad eggs, and he purposely recruited these bad eggs. Urban Meyer's a bad person and a bad coach. And then you have Doug Peterson, who I think is just the complete 100% opposite. Has actual experience in the NFL, knows what he's doing, knows how to get the most out of the players without treating them, you know, like basically, you know, minimum wage employees at a Burger King is how it seemed Urban Meyer ran the Jags organization when he was there. And I'll never forgive him for running Josh Lambo off. Sure. Though I will say Riley Patterson had a clutch kick, that kick to tie it up. You know, so
dude,
that
I was literally
good.
Like, did you see? Okay, so that kick that he kicked prior to the Cowboys calling the timeout, I was like,
it was hooking right.
It was close.
I mean, it went in, but it was hooking right.
It was super low too. It was like, it didn't go like it was like low, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah. So thank you, Mike McCarthy. Yeah, thank you, Mike McCarthy, for giving him a practice shot so he can tune it up. Yeah, right. But you know, at the end of the day, they got the job done. You know, so I just think a coach makes a whole world of difference. We got some comments after the fumble. A Cowboys fan, female, when me said that's how a real franchise win. I gotta beat traffic, loser. Oh, I guess the lady left.
A lot of people did. A lot of people did. You all and you know what's so funny is like it. Trust me, I would love to beat traffic because I sat
Oh, I imagine it was
in
terrible.
traffic for an hour and a half. After that game, it took me 2 hours to get 15 miles. Okay. So I would have loved to beat traffic, but I have seen it so many times where you leave early and they literally like left as like with all this confidence, like, oh, well, that's it. Game's over. Let me go clean up my tailgate spot and head home, head back to the hotel.
Yep.
And I was like, this ain't it. I could feel it, but I did
It wasn't
spend
over. Yeah.
the entire overtime with I had a Jaguar Santa hat on and I had it over my face like this. And my friend's son was like, "Are you not going to watch it?" I said, "No, no."
Well, listen, yeah, I mean that first drive that the Jags had in overtime was not good. It was not, it was not a good display of offense. But then Rayshon Jenkins did what he did, and here we are. Oh, Brian's coming with the fire comments today. Even after the mistake, the team rallies around that guy who made the mistake, not send him to the bench alone. Yes, I actually noticed that when Travis Etienne fumbled, the first person talking to him, patting him on the head, like clearly telling him like, hey man, don't sweat it, get your head in the game, like let's go, was Trevor Lawrence. And then I saw the offensive lineman talking to him. They showed on the TV broadcast, they don't just let the guys sit in a corner, and wallow in it. Like even my daughter, so we're watching the Sounds of the Game video when it came out around 7:00 tonight before my daughter went to bed. At the end, they're showing, when the whole team comes off the bench and goes to Rayshon Jenkins and crowds around him down there in the end zone. And then they're showing the video. They're showing the video of
my favorite thing about the whole thing, like, sure, the touchdown was great and the celebration in the end. Did you see Campbell?
Mm-mm.
Oh my
Maybe,
gosh.
I don't know. What do you do?
He runs like he knows he's got it, and it's like the look of pure joy.
Yeah.
On his face. I'm gonna find it real quick.
I love what Rayshon did with that first interception too, where he basically stole Jalen Ramsey's jump up into the stands, did it in almost the same spot. It looked like that Ramsey did it for that Bills game and jumped up there. But my daughter, she's watching that and she goes, oh, they're so happy for each other. She's like, they're so nice to each other. Like, and you just, there's some teams, even Jags teams in the past where that you didn't get that feeling that they were like sort of bonded.
Well, Jalen Ramsey would be one of them. I mean, he used to troll his own teammates all the time.
Yeah, he was terrible.
So
him and Unique Ngakoue, they were both that same sort of dude.
Okay.
That's why, yeah.
Let me play this real quick because play this for the boys. It's Weed and Boys. Hold on. I just want you to see his face because it's my favorite part.
Brian says he almost passed out. Stay safe, Brian.
So
hold on. Let me get rid of the banner. Hold on. Or the overlay. There we go.
Okay. So Jenkins catches it. Block. There's Josh Allen. Look at Campbell right here. Just takes off and he's shaking his head. He's like, yeah.
Oh, wait, go back to right when he first catches it, and you'll see the block in the back by Fotokasi there too. Here he comes. Watch 23. Yep, right in the back. They totally missed that blood right in the back. And you can really see it in the Sounds of the Game because they've got a camera, one of these cameras down there in the end zone looking straight at. So Rayshon Jenkins is coming towards the camera, and you just see, because they got a tight shot on Fotokasi, and you just see him come in, or tight shot on Jenkins. You see Fotokasi come in and blow that guy up in the back. So I'm very glad the refs did not catch that. And it was nice also to not have like 47 holding penalties like there were in that.
Well, why is that? Who was out this week?
I don't know who was out this week.
Trayvon Walker.
No, I'm talking the offense. The offense had a bunch
of.
Yeah. No, the offensive line. So, and I guess that leads sort of the final topic for today is we got a big game under the lights at night with a short week in New York against the Jets. Looks like Trayvon Walker might still be out. Cam Robinson done for the year. I haven't heard about the other tackle, the right tackle. What's his name?
I would never wish an injury upon anybody, ever. And so it's very sad. However, I've been wanting to replace Cam Robinson for quite some
people
time.
have been saying that Cam Robinson's playing terrible. I don't know. I mean,
I've been saying it for years, though. For years. Like, Andrew Norwell was the worst. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like he's been making mistakes. Like we're not getting any younger. How old is he now? He's got to be in his 30s. You know?
Cam Robinson?
Yeah,
I don't know.
early
Let's see.
30s. Google that. But either way, like you slow down, you make mistakes. It's like,
Only 27.
is he?
He's only been in the league. He hasn't been in the league that long, has he?
Still, I mean, you're getting that's offensive line. You're getting, I mean, that's a lot. I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't been playing the way he used to. And I was excited when Andrew Norwell was gone. And I think it's just time to like look at replacing him.
That's weird. He was part of the 2017 team. Cam Robinson. He was drafted and he was a rookie during that playoff run. That's wild. Yeah. So I guess he's going on 6-7 years in the league. I guess 6 years. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like next man up, right? Like, but yeah. Cam's like 25. Yep, Ryan. Yep, 27.
So hold on. I do have a question. If they were to catch that illegal block in the back, it's a 10-yard penalty. Correct.
From the spot of the foul, but the Jags get the ball.
Yeah.
It doesn't negate the interception. It's just a penalty on the return. So it's the same thing as like a block in the back on a punt return.
I wonder if they were just I wonder if they saw it because it was on their side. They had to have seen it, like the Cowboys.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they said something to the referees or the umpires.
I don't know if they would even say anything. They probably just were like, because they didn't even review. Like that was it. All the teams just came out. They were just done.
Well, I don't think a block in the back is reviewable, but I would imagine Mike McCarthy
But
or
the
somebody was given the.
touchdown would have been possibly. They were like reviewed everything. That was the longest 3 minutes.
You
of
can't.
football
So they
ever.
can.
The
They
last
will
3 minutes of the
review.
game.
I believe like did he step out of bounds is reviewable. I'd have to look it up, but I don't think they can go back and call a penalty that wasn't called on the field. If
Well,
they
yeah,
review a
no,
play.
but I meant like, right. I don't know. Either way, it was
Yeah.
chaos. They didn't even bother. They just came out. Just like, "Oh, we're done."
They knew they were beaten. They couldn't take any more. So they just put their tail between their legs. All right. So the Jags are in New York City Thursday night, Christmas Eve. And I think they're going to beat the Jets. I do. I think they're going to beat them. I think they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to wallop them, but the Jets defense is good, but so is the Cowboys defense. My worry is never the offense at this point, which I know is weird to say. But now
My
I
worry
think
is still the offense.
yeah,
My
I
worry
don't
is
know.
still the offense. There's too many like little mistakes, and like I've said before, like the Urban Meyer year doesn't count. So therefore, this is Etienne was out anyway, but the Urban Meyer year doesn't count. So this is Trevor Lawrence and Etienne's rookie year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So mistakes do happen, but like some of them are costly, and I think Etienne not being able to hold on to the ball with that defense is scary. And Trevor Lawrence, he's been doing better about overthrowing it because he used to choke in the red zone.
Yeah.
Overthrowing the ball, things like that. So
They're better in the red zone, but he still makes passes that could be intercepted more easily than you would hope. Even that amazing Zay Jones catch from last week, that was a tip ball that could have been picked. There was a pass that went right through the hands of a defender.
Well, so on TV, when I always go home and rewatch it on TV, and I watch that especially towards the end because I just get like overexcited if we're winning. So I'm like, okay, I need to my brain didn't log anything that happened. I need to go home and watch it. So I record it, and when I was rewatching it on TV, you see Trevor Lawrence look at him and go, "That was close. That was close." Because it literally was like, right between his hands.
Yeah.
So, but it's stuff like that like, whew.
Yeah, I think
Playing with fire.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Jags win. What do you think?
I think the Jags win. I don't know. Eric Dunn's going. Eric Dunn, if you're listening, or if
Eric Dunn, please stay home. I will give you money. Let's talk. Call me, Eric
I think
Dunn.
it's about pride and proving a point at this point. But I'm calling for anyone who is at the tailgate to tie his shoelaces together, so then he can't go in.
Anyone who can non-violently prevent Eric Dunn from getting to New York City to
So
see the game. Do something
this guy
nice.
CT
Do something
Jags
nice
fan.
for Eric Dunn and keep him from getting to the game.
Yeah,
And I will pay you money.
I'm working on getting him saged before he goes in. But this guy CT Jags fan, um, it's his name on Twitter, uh, actually tweeted at the city of Jacksonville and said, I think if you look up this man's driving record, there's multiple violations. Someone needs to put a boot on his car.
Right? Boot him. Do what you got to do.
And the city of Jacksonville actually responded and with a dangle from Reno 911.
Yeah.
So funny. Like everybody's in on this. It's great.
Does anyone know anyone at the what do they call it? TSA. Let's get them on a no-fly list.
Somebody somebody tweeted the TSA.
At TSA. Don't let this man on a plane.
The girl, she's a comedian, J. Paul, I think is her name. She actually tweeted TSA.
That's
so funny.
Obviously, this is all in jest. Like
we gotta be careful because Eric Dunn's gonna end up like on a terrorist list somewhere or something.
Yeah, I don't really want that. It's all in good fun. I hope that we get him saged or do whatever we got to do to break that curse and he stops causing the team to lose. And yes, Eric Dunn, it is your fault if you're listening.
Oh, one last thing. Did you see the guy who made a PowerPoint presentation for his wife on why he should go to the game? You didn't see this.
No.
Do I have time to stream it? It was on the news last night too.
Yeah, if you got it. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is hilarious. And his wife agreed as long as
to which game? He took the New York game.
Mm-hmm. His wife agreed as long as she gets to name I guess she's pregnant with twins. So as long as she gets to name the she gets to name the twins, he can go. And he has to leave his credit card. I was like, that's great. I said, joke's on you. She was going to do that anyway. Oh, that's so great. Hold on. I got to find this PowerPoint. It's epic.
Yeah, I mean, that's a power play for him then if she's going to do it anyway and he gets to go to the game. Like, yeah, good job, lady. Congratulations, man. You played yourself.
Oh, man. Hold on. Like, I really don't tweet that much. How come I can't find stuff? This is crazy.
As you can tell, we're well prepared with our extra content for the show.
Listen, but this is so worth it. I can't believe you haven't seen it. It's so good.
No.
Oh, here it is. He titled it, Why Pedro Should Be Allowed to Go to New York for Thursday Night Football. Okay, hold on. This is so good. This is so good. And, it actually made it on the news last night, on local news. Hold on.
Oh, we can't see it.
I don't know can you see it?
No.
You can see it?
Now I can see it, but it said click to exit full screen when you try to make it full screen. Yeah, that's not working. I need to cue the Jeopardy music till you figure out that.
Yeah, it's playing New York, New York. You can go shopping while I'm gone.
We can't see the video. Yeah, we're not going to listen. Just don't make it full screen. Just play it like that.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Let me go back. It's playing music, so. There we go. Now I got it muted. You can hear me?
Yeah.
We'll try this again. I'll read it. So here's his PowerPoint, why Pedro should be allowed to go. And the first slide is, because Trevor is him. Though many rough years as a fan, we have never had a quarterback who is him. Through intense testing and research, dang it.
You gotta pause it.
We have concluded that Trevor is indeed him. And then he lists some of the quarterbacks.
Non-him quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, like Blake Bortles.
My parents will watch Ava.
Yeah, their daughter.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, I love it has an asterisk. Not an actual picture of our family. Where's the next slide? Come on. You can go shopping.
While I'm gone, you can
asterisk.
Free reign to shop and buy all that you want.
Not an actual picture of you. And then this one is so funny because this sums up Jag's Twitter so perfectly. It says, Paul from Twitter will be there. And it says, I do not know Paul, but he will be there, and he seems like a nice guy. Might not be an actual picture of Paul. Because that is Jaguars Twitter, like in a nutshell.
You're playing against Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Once again, after brutal research, we have concluded that Zach Wilson is not only not him, but he is in fact not very good, thus improving our chances of victory. And then the sad Zach Wilson picture. We're almost done here. Oh, I will be home for Christmas. And he's like saying how he's timed it out perfectly to be home by Christmas Eve, just in time for dinner and the holiday party. I will be begrudgingly attending for
your friends that I do not like.
I don't know how you can read that if your eyes are dilated. I'm not wearing my glasses and I can't see.
Oh, they're better now.
The rally blankie. So I guess the story with this is that when they were in Nashville, they found this blanket in a porta potty.
Oh.
And so he puts it fully wrapped in its original packaging. It's not as gross as it sounds.
Okay.
So I guess since they found this blanket, the Jaguars are 2-0 and have broken long running streaks. I am but a vessel for the blankie. We need the power of the blankie for this playoff push. It will also be cold, so the blankie will serve two purposes. This is like the best PowerPoint I've ever seen in my life. Not that PowerPoints are normally really good. I can visit locations from my favorite show, The Sopranos, for research purposes. I guess
Jaguars were good. I still had hair.
And then he put, I should have gotten those cornrows I wanted when I had the chance. Oh, man. So funny. Hold on. It's almost there. New York. Pitbull.
Well, Pedro, I hope you have a good time, and I hope the Jags give you a victory.
So he was like tweeting like as the day went on, and he's like, my wife will be home at 8. And then he's like, okay, she texted, but she has conditions. So if you go check it out, his name on Twitter is at P Dreezy. It's PEDRIZZYY. And dude, I hope he has such a good time. Oh, so good.
Yep. Congrats, Pedro. Glad you convinced
Jags
your wife.
Twitter. Shout out to Jags Twitter, dude. Honestly.
It's a fun place as long as you don't poke the hornet's nest, which a couple of people found out last few days.
Yeah, it's a fun place unless you
not to mess around.
Not a Jaguars fan and you talk bad about the Jaguars. So
yep. Yep. All right. So I think that's it for today. I think we're gonna win. We'll be back next week to talk about our first three victory. Jags by 3.
I don't think I ever said.
Yeah, I think 27-10. I think that's
17-14.
I think they're gonna wallop them.
And on behalf of Cody Blankenship, I would like to say Jags by 50.
Jags by 50. That's right. All right. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at SammyFootball with an I, and as well on Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern. Unless there is an AFC South game, it's Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern on the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at Josh Gives Up. Hey, listen, you have an open invitation, so yeah, I'm on Twitter at Josh Gives Up, and I will be down at the bank for the last game of the year against the Titans, and hopefully with playoff implications on the line. And last thing I'll say is just very nice to be watching games that have actual meaning in the month of December and not talking about the draft.
Oh,
amen for that.
Yes.
Right?
Thank God we're not Colts fans,
All right. We'll see everybody next week. But also, Sam loves Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, and Chris Jackson loves Matt Ryan.